Good afternoon, Wealth Our Way Nation. What is going on? It is your man, Charles Tank Harris, the founder and chief visionary officer of the financial literacy platform, Wealth Our Way, where our motto is wealth is not only for the wealthy. I welcome each and every one of you to episode 46, Key Players in the Drop Shipping Business Model. And guess what? You're in there. So I want to thank everybody who's here live with me as I stream across the Wealth Our Way Facebook and YouTube pages. A special salute and shout out to Wealth Our Way Nation members who watch this program overnight, over the weekends, wherever they can squeeze 15 minutes of financial literacy in, and a heartfelt how are you to the good folks of the Life 101 platform who listen to the audio recording of this here program. So, drop shipping, been researching it. The good folks at Amazon have a wealth of information, but I always teach you guys nothing in life is technically free. So I'm learning as I'm going through their instructional information on how to perform drop shipping that at the bottom, they talk about fulfillment services that they offer exclusively at Amazon. And I definitely want to spend some point in this week, since we have today and 2 more days, talking about hiring fulfillment services, because to me, I thought it was all in one and the same. I thought fulfillment was part of the drop shipping model, but the reality is that fulfillment is even a higher level of taking it out of your hands and letting someone else manage the whole process for you, as opposed to being the point person, Don Dada, CEO of your own drop shipping business. So today I want to run through the business model of a drop shipping company, your company that you started with very little startup capital required, and just talk to you about who the key players are in the drop shipping model. So we're going to unpack some of these key players, their roles in greater detail, starting with the seller of record. So in other words, that's your business. When we talk about seller of record, if someone goes onto a website and sees that you are selling monogrammed baby headbands, you're the seller of record. Your website is all pretty. It has the pictures of the headbands. People know they're buying from Jessica's Headband Emporium. They do not know that you do not have not near one headband at your house, that you are not stitching their name on. They don't know any of that. They just know they're on your website, and this is the product that they expect. You advertise it, you tell great stories about it, but once they actually make the order, a whole game begins in the background. So the drop shipping process starts with you as the seller of record, because you're the individual identified selling the product to the end consumer. You set the price, you record the purchase as revenue. Also, don't get into business and not think that Big Brother or government doesn't want their cut. When you sell items, and most times when you sell services, there are sales taxes that need to be collected when you sell an item. As the seller of record, you are responsible for taking and collecting those sales revenue dollars and sending them to the state taxing agency. That is not Amazon or any other fulfillment company's job. That is your job. And even when a third party stocks and ships the items, you're the seller of record because you own the product before it ships to the customer. So we talk about manufacturers making, like, let's just stay with the headband example. Even though you never take physical custody of the headband, once the order is put in from your company to the manufacturer who makes the headband, it's your headband until the customer receives it. So if the manufacturer is short money, they're not going after your customer, they're coming after you. That's what it means to be the seller of record. Now let's talk about the actual people who would be making the headbands, the manufacturer. Manufacturers make products and they sell these products to wholesalers and retailers. In this example, you are considered a retailer. You are the person who is selling to the end user, the public. That is a retail sale. A lot of you guys and girls know about wholesalers. You know about going to places that buy in bulk from the manufacturer and sell in bulk to retailers. That is a wholesale process. So let's talk about wholesalers for a minute. In a typical product supply chain, wholesalers are buying directly from the manufacturer and selling it to people who are retailers. So when I was younger, we had penny candy. And it's funny because they still call it penny candy now, but it don't cost a penny. It costs like a nickel or a dime. But you had the little Swedish fish, the Boston baked beans, all these little different candies you can get from a penny. What I learned, because I ended up working at the corner store in my neighborhood, was the corner store people who were the retailers. They had a store selling retail to anybody who walked in off the street. They went to a store and bought what they were going to sell. The store they were going to was a wholesaler store. It looked like a big factory, had boxes of Swedish fish, because that company didn't make the fish. That came from the actual manufacturer. They shipped it to the wholesaler. Then my boss went and picked up what he needed to sell and brought it back to the store to sell it retail. So they sell to retailers at a slight markup over what they got from the manufacturer. They kind of function as middlemen, so to speak. They don't sell to the end consumer unless you see one of those stores where they say direct to consumer, unclaimed freight, unclaimed diamonds, and where they normally would sell to jewelry stores or furniture stores. Now they're telling you as the consumer, you can come in and buy. So they don't necessarily provide drop shipping services to the retailers. And that might be why you need to get someone to actually fulfill that process, because it is a cumbersome process to negotiate what is called your supply chain. The supply chain is the manufacturer making it, sending it to a wholesaler, who ultimately sends it to a reseller or retailer, or skips the retailer and drop ships it directly to the end customer in your process. What are some of the pros and the cons of drop shipping? So in e-commerce business, as in life, there are all types of advantages and disadvantages to any way you decide to do something. So you have to decide whether the price or the pain that you're going to pay is worth the reward. Let's talk about some of the benefits that you would get from running a drop shipping business. The first one is the main one I'm telling you in the money-making month of August. You don't need a lot of money to run a drop shipping business. The actual overhead costs are very low because you're not carrying inventory. I think if nothing else that COVID showed us, and COVID showed us a lot of things, there's a concept called just-in-time shipping, where things get made and sent out right in time for the order to refill. Supply chains are very fragile. Supply chains are very delicate. When we had a manufacturing slowdown because of a labor shortage and work stoppages, it really affected our supply chain dramatically. You want to make sure that you run the type of business where, yes, you can keep your overhead costs down because you're not carrying inventory, but you're not beholden to someone on your supply chain messing up your ultimate fulfillment to the end user, which is the customer. Also, I say we're keeping overhead costs down. We're keeping startup costs down as well, because any entrepreneur looking to start a business that has a minimal investment requirement should look at drop shipping. You're going to have to pay your state registration fee, maybe some business licensing fees, website, and then you're up and running. You don't have to have the overhead that would be required to run an actual physical business of selling items, because you're using someone else's supply chain for that. What else is a possible benefit? Well, you have more than one channel on which to sell. By multiple channels, I mean you have your website. You can use online stores like Amazon. You could actually take physical custody of some of your items and go to a flea market or wherever, a tech show. If you're selling tech items, you could literally be a physical retailer. You have multiple options. So why are we even talking about the money-making month of August? Because we want to talk about multiple streams of income. What's better in your multiple stream of income as having multiple ways to make your multiple streams? So you can sell online. You can place them on somebody else's website. We talked about affiliate marketing last week. You can actually have affiliates who direct traffic to your site and pay them a commission off of your sale, and they're directing the traffic. So there's all different types of channels that you can have. Also, opening an operating location, you can be anywhere. I joke, my business is 90% virtual now. And I joked about becoming a vagabond and moving from country to country, spending 6 months in Panama, 6 months in the Dominican Republic, 6 months in Brazil, getting in front of my computer and my lamps, doing my shows, handling my client business, and going on the beach and hanging out the rest of the day. I literally could do that with the business that I run. Drop shipping provides you a similar opportunity. You can operate from anywhere, the possibility to work from any location. In this day and age, what I will say is people have a level of freedom that didn't exist in the brick and mortar world that I grew up in. And having the ability to work, you've seen a mass exodus of people moving from expensive regions of this country to less expensive regions of the country once they realized they could do their job from home. Once you open a business that can be done from anywhere, it opens up that freedom to you as well. What are some of the limitations of drop shipping? The first one is going to be kind of obvious if you think about it. It's competition. There is no way to have a barrier of entry when the ability to get into this business is so easy. Anything that you're doing online that you're drop shipping, somebody else can set up a website and do the same thing. You're not making something that's so unique to you that someone else can't copy it, see that you're making money at it, and do it as well. Also, product quality. If you're drop shipping, what are you never going to have a chance to do? You're never going to have a chance to inspect the item that is being shipped to your client. It's going from person A to person C. It's skipping right over you as point B. You have a hard time branding yourself when you're drop shipping. Now, I use the example of the embroidered headbands for babies. You could have someone who's responsible for embroidering the name on the headbands that get made from the manufacturer at an additional cost. You could have a logo that goes on things, but it's very difficult when you're not dealing directly with the manufacturer, when something's going from the manufacturer to the end user, to brand anything other than your website and your process from your website. So branding is very difficult when you're in a drop shipping environment. Profit margins. This is what we're in business for, is to make money, right? You have a lot of hands in the pie when you are drop shipping. You have a lot of different people helping you out. You're outsourcing a great deal of your process that comes at a cost to you. And as a result of that cost, your profit margins are going to be lower in a drop shipping business than in a hand-to-hand business. And you have to account for that. You want to be in some type of business that provides you with more volume, so to speak, more transactions to make up for your smaller margins. You got to worry about what your inventory management looks like, because this goes back to what I said about COVID hitting. If people are not producing your items in time to ship, that ultimately falls back to you as the seller of record, because they're not getting what you promised them and you don't have any control of it. It's out of your hands. You've outsourced that to someone else. And that also runs right up to one of the other drawbacks, which is the fulfillment timeline. You can't control when something is manufactured, shipped, and ultimately arrives at your customer's door, because you're dependent on a bunch of other people to make that happen. So people are very, very sensitive to delivery in this day and age. Speaking of Amazon Prime, I've seen my wife order something first thing in the morning and us have it by that afternoon. That's crazy to me, but it happens. So you want to make sure that you're satisfying your clients by delivering to them in a certain amount of time. So with that being said, I wanted to just kind of cover the pros and cons and the key people in the business model. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk a lot further on fulfillment, and then we'll wrap the week up with the finishing touches on Friday for drop shipping. I hope you guys are getting a lot out of it. I know I've gotten a lot out of it. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Come back and remember what our motto is here at Wealth Our Way. Wealth is not only for the wealthy. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.